Michael Vaughan made the comment as the England team left that he didn't think England could retain the Ashes unless Andrew Strauss averages 50. Is that a crucial factor in the series, or has that been overplayed?
Oh, it was Michael Vaughan suggesting when he didn't average 50 that England lost the Ashes.
I think he's suggesting because Strauss failed last time for whatever reasons that that's one of the reasons why England didn't do as well.
Yeah, and the Strauss argument holds true for Jimmy Anderson. Not that he'll average 50 with a bat, but he had a very poor series here last Ashes. But these guys are better players. You know, they've learnt that lesson. They've done very well representing their country and getting their test status up from, I think, they're number 6 up to number, they're bordering on number 2 at the moment. So good players learn lessons. They use their experiences and they don't fail twice generally. So it won't be just Strauss. I think Strauss and Anderson are the keys to how they go. But if your captain averages 50, it is a huge start. Attacking the captain, making him look fallible, making him look frail is a fantastic plan to have. And when you're an opening batsman, you'll fail now and then. You'll get out to that new ball. That's a part of the game. But if Andrew Strauss can average 50, that means England will be getting good starts and making big totals. So if they can get some runs on the board, I think they've got some bowlers who can restrict Australia. And if they can bowl at Australia on day 5, they've got an off spinner who Australia aren't playing very well. So Strauss being successful at the top it's a key. It's the same as the Australian openers doing well.
Just looking at the bowling attack, so what's Australia's best option for the series, particularly with their pace attack, but also the backup of spin?
I think probably McGrath, Davidson, Lilly. It'd be a pretty good 3.
Yeah.
But given that they're not available, and unfortunately for Ricky, he's got to realise they aren't available. It's no good saying I haven't got Warren, McGrath, Gilchrist et al. He doesn't. You've got to captain the troops you have, and that's his great challenge. But Doug Bollinger has been their best and most consistent for 12 months, and I say most consistent because virtually every spell he's bowled, he's been accurate, he's been fast, and he's taking wickets. His problems are injury doubts. There seems to be this reoccurring stomach injury. He got first back in South Africa a couple of years ago. If he's fit, he is the first fast bowler picked. Mitchell Johnson seems to be fit at the moment, but every time he walks across the white line, you've got to cross your fingers. If you're the captain and you throw the ball to Mitchell, you're not sure what you're going to get, and that's not typically what you want from a test bowler. But I think he'll be there. So we have Bollinger, Johnson, and then it's probably out of Hilfenhaus and Siddle. You need some right-handers in there, and Hilfenhaus has done well in Pakistan, against Pakistan and England. He's come back from that injury, and he's bowling pretty well, and he does well in Brisbane. So it's probably, all things being equal, fitness being equal, that Johnson and Bollinger and Hilfenhaus, and then Australia do have this one significant advantage. They've got Shane Watson to bowl. So they've got an opening batsman who can bowl very well. And I've been really impressed with his last year. Cut his pace down, he's bowled very accurately. He's getting breakthroughs all the time. And so that really gives them 4 seam bowlers. And then, going to that first test, their spin bowling's probably going to be Nathan Horrocks.
Where else can they go if Horrocks doesn't improve from where he was appearing to be lacking confidence and perhaps the confidence of the captain in that series? Yeah,
spinners need support, and it is a skill played between the ears so often. You need to have confidence in what you do, your field placements, and the fact that when the captain throws you the ball, he really needs you, not your option Z, and you're the default option. You're the one you want to go to. So all those things are very important. And Nathan Horrocks last year in Australia, I thought bowled very well. So he's back on home wickets, back on bouncy pitches. Not too much spin probably. He will look on last year's experience. So look, I did it last year. Get some players who can play against spin. Therefore, I should be right for this year. But if he fails, in Brisbane won't be a place where he's going to take 5-wicket hauls. He needs to be, he's going to be hopefully a 2 for 70, 2 for 80 man and support the seam bowlers. If that doesn't work, you do gamble on Steve Smith. Is he in the team to start off with? Is he going to bowl well enough? The people I think are outside chances are people like Xavier Doherty. And how good was it to see him picked in a one-day side? Because he has been the best left-arm orthodox in Australia for the last 3 years. So finally the selectors have taken notice of him. He's been in good form in Shield cricket. recently as well. He's crossing all the boxes off Xavier Doherty, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got a game there. If they want finger spin, traditionally not big in Australia, if Smith's leg spin's not good enough. It's just another one of those questions we're not sure about, which is terrific, and it puts a lot of pressure on the players to do well in the lead-up games to the first test.
Be the first Xavier to play for Australia?
Xavier Trass, was he the other one?
Extras, that's right. Xavier Trass, yeah, very good. And what do you think is England's best bowling lineup in this series? Who are they primarily going to look to, given that they've got a Kookaburra and not a Duke, to do the business down under?
Wouldn't England love it if we returned to the 1989 Ashes series? Now, Jim, you call that. Now, what was the big factor? We used to have 2 tosses in the 1989 Ashes series.
The Reader and the Duke.
We had a toss to see which ball was going to be used.
Yes.
And that was in England, and the Reader was supposed to do more, and the Duke, which was a traditional English ball, we used a lot. So 2 tosses before the game, which was fascinating. Wouldn't England love it if they could toss Duke or Kookaburra? But no, the Kookaburra won't do as much. It's a different. It's hard wicket bowling. You've got to hit the length. You've got to be consistent. The only difference will happen in Brisbane. Now, let's look at La Nina. We've got weather phenomena. We've got a wet East Coast. It's forecast. Brisbane has been underwater. And will this wet weather and damp, humid weather continue until the 25th of November? It'll be a big factor. If it's humid in Brisbane, it will swing all the time. A little bit of a grassy wicket, so that will be such a huge factor. You know, the weather patterns of Eastern Australia will be such a huge factor in that first test, because the Kookaburra in Brisbane swings around. There's lots of fine Australian bowlers have done well in Brisbane swinging the ball in the past, and I think Jimmy Anderson will be having a silent prayer that it's overcast and the Kookaburra does things. If that happens, he could be dangerous. It's probably not going to happen basically in Perth, Melbourne, Adelaide and Sydney. So I said it earlier, but the first test is such a key game, and the weather will play a part and the ball will play a part. But you wouldn't imagine the English attack being quite as strong with the Kookaburra. They were fantastic in their conditions, and we even saw it in the Pakistan-Australia series in England, that it was good bowling weather with a good ball, and most of the batsmen struggled. It was very watchable cricket, but it was a struggle for the batsmen. Anderson is a key. I think he's a much improved bowler. He swings it both ways. He's got a good slow ball. I think he constructs an over well. You know, how he actually figures out a batsman through the course of those 6 balls. You know, he's an experienced cricketer, and a lot will be down to him, particularly that first test. And then you got the big tall bangers in. You got Finn and Broad, who might come into their own after they might in Brisbane as well. And Broad's a feisty, competitive character. And if he bowls well in Brisbane, he'll be a handful as well. Steve Finn's their unknown. I'm not too sure what he will produce. I wasn't impressed with what I saw in England during the Northern Summer. I thought it was okay without being outstanding, and England were perhaps talking him up a lot. But his challenge will be to bowl well in Australian conditions. But you just think, if all the Aussie bowlers are fit, come Brisbane, they will know how to bowl a little bit better in Brisbane. So
where's that leave Bresnan and Tremlett?
Well, they're the backup guys. I think Bresnan's a fine cricketer, good all-rounder. He will bowl well. If he got a game in Brisbane, I think he'd bowl well. He reminds me of, it's a Hilfenau House style of bowler. Even the other guy who comes to mind is Ryan Harrison, if he's fit. But Bresnan is that, hits the length, bowls it quicker than you think, does swing it. England might decide that's the way to go, but you got to think the first seed they'll pick are Anderson, Broad, and Finn, and then you got the backups of Tremlett and Bresnan. But I suppose I think one of their biggest errors in selection is not bringing Ryan Sidebottom, left arm swinger,
who's now retired.
He retired when he wasn't selected. Yes. Said I've had enough. Just one more tour for him, because he's competitive. New ball or old ball is terrific. He can bat a bit. He does swing it. You need left-handed variety these days, particularly with so many left-handed batsmen in the opposition. The percentage of dismissals are much higher with lefty to lefty, so I think they missed a trick there.